Right now, some neighbors in Newport News are fired up about a project in the works near their homes.
City is tearing down trees in an effort to prevent flooding. This is between Rich Neck Road and Melrose Terrace in Denby. 13 News Now reporter Nico Clements spoke to residents there about their concerns.
Several Newport News homeowners are filled with questions.
We were totally left out of the loop.
The city sent several Colony Pines homeowners letters last week letting them know about plans to build 3 stormwater management basins in their neighborhood. The goal is to alleviate flooding, but crews need to clear trees that sit behind many of the homes, which is a concern for several homeowners, like Jim Miller.
Shock.
Miller has lived in Colony Pines almost 20 years.
Well, what I see right now is peace and tranquility.
Several homeowners, like Miller, say they have concerns about their property values, as well as privacy and where the wildlife will go.
We're concerned that the city has moved forward without any type of involvement of the citizens.
I spoke with Newport News' Director of Engineering, Everett Skipper. Skipper tells me they're hoping to leave as many trees as they can in a buffer area. That buffer area would be 40 feet or so from the property line towards the ponds. Miller says another concern, they're just finding out, and construction is set to start this fall. Skipper tells me the city went through joint permit processes with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the state, and the Department of Environmental Quality. He says the Corps sent out public notices in 2012, and the DEQ sent out public notices March 2017. Skipper says Newport News published the DEQ's public notice in the Daily Press.
There is a pause that could be put in this project.
Colony Pines residents are holding a community meeting next Tuesday night at the World Outreach Worship Center, hoping to address the issue before city leaders make a decision. In Newport News, Nico Clements, 13 News Now.